Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down. So, this movie, when the first trailer dropped, I wouldn't say I was excited at all about it. If anything, I kind of felt like it was overbloated. It looked very complicated. I was like, hey, this is going to be too confusing to even want to go see, even for the visual effects and action. By the time the rest of the trailers came out, I was a little bit more intrigued, but still pretty mellow. I had a friend who went and saw the movie around the premiere and said some nice things, and I was like, oh, all right, well, I'm getting a recommendation from somebody that gets me more excited. So I went and checked it out. How well did my excitement handle everything that I witnessed? Well, pull up a chair, man, take a seat. We're getting ready to dive in, spoiler free, on Mortal Engines. Man, this movie's a conundrum. I'm not shocked that this movie is not being seen by people and making like no money. I felt like the trailers kind of didn't give you enough of a direction early to make people be interested in this. And then its placement in the year, coming out now, is not where this movie belongs. This movie belongs in the middle of August when people are hot. They just want to go into the air conditioning, kill a couple hours, pop some popcorn, enjoy some big crazy special effects and action. This movie probably would have made a bunch of money. Instead, it comes out right before award season. I'm not shocked that this is being projected to lose anywhere from $100 to $125 million, which blows because Peter Jackson's name is attached to this, and it's super disappointing to see that kind of performance. But despite that, how is the movie? Script, character development, story, it's not very good. A lot of it is very, very cliche. This is a textbook, like post-apocalyptic YA book adaptation movie. It's kind of like a paint by numbers in that respect. So it's not, that stuff is weak. The lead gets some character development. Her story's halfway decent. There's one other character that gets a little bit of story and I think is the best thing in the entire movie. And then there's a lot of insanely large action that I had a hell of a good time with. Look, I think the pacing on this movie is off. There are stretches of this movie that are rough. Like I said, the story itself is very, very thin. The character development is zero to non-existent for pretty much everybody that is not named Hester Shaw, who is the lead character. I do think that we get good performances from all of our actors. Robert Sheehan, who plays Tom, which is kind of Hester's love interest, does a nice job, just not a ton to his character. Hugo Weaving, always great, but about as generic a villain as you could have. Just done really well. He plays Thaddeus Valentine, and like I said, very, very generic. You got Jahai. I might be saying that wrong. Jihae. She plays Anna Fang. I don't really know much to say about Anna Fang other than she looks super cool and she's super badass. Like that's the type of character development stuff that we have going on with all these characters. And there's so many of them. And we get people like, Ronan Rafferty, who plays Beavis Pod. I don't remember these names either. Layla George, who plays Catherine Valentine. Like, they have, like, this other kind of love story thing going on, and that part of the story is, like, interconnected to the main plot, but, like, in a subplot way, but doesn't really have any kind of... that part of the story is one of the things that did not work at all for me in this movie. But, I mean, nice jobs from those folks. And you can say that about so many people in this movie. But ultimately, it really comes down to two characters. If you're looking for anything that's halfway decent, like I said, Hester Shaw, who's our lead, I think her backstory is pretty decent. It's well explained. We can really understand where she's coming from, what her motivations are, albeit, again, kind of cliche. But her story I thought was the one thing that worked. And since she's our main character riding with us, I think that's the reason I was able to enjoy the movie at all. Like I said, I liked this cast. It's a bunch of, folks you're not familiar with outside of Hugo. And I thought they all did good work. Just not a lot there. However, there is one character in this movie. What Stephen Lang does with his character Shrike, which is a motion capture character, it's the best stuff in the movie. His performance is stellar. The emotional beats totally connect on Shrike's end of the story. I think there's a bunch of exposition to his story, but we do get to, again, see some of his backstory physically. And when we understand what he is and where he came from and why he's doing what he's doing, your heart breaks, man. Like, it breaks in a way where you're just like, oh my God, I can totally feel for this motion capture CGI character more than I'm feeling for anybody else in the movie. And then you get toward the end of the movie and you come to the resolutions with that character. So many tears, dude. It was so emotional, and it was the one thing in the movie that I really connected with. I loved what Stephen Lang did. But this movie is really all about the action. And like I said, the pacing is off sometimes, so this movie does struggle, and it's not just like an easy 90-minute popcorn flick. You do got to kind of muster through some of it. But you want to just turn your brain off and enjoy a spectacle? The visual effects and the action sequences are unreal. They're not Aquaman unreal, but I mean, they're unreal, and like, I've never seen anything like what I'm seeing. I mean, mobile cities, watching the opening sequence involves London chasing a small town. It's brilliant. We get a really, really cool scene up in the air. That's awesome. The finale, I thought, plays really well. But, you kind of lose some of the on the edge of your seatness of the movie, or like heart in your throat, or like you lose some of that, like that weight, because you're not really locked in with all of the characters, because there's no character development. But, I mean, the action, it's crazy good. I mean, watching a city ingest another city into itself, describing that like in that way, I don't even know what I would picture, but what I saw, I was like, wow. And there were a lot of wow moments visually and action wise. It's just the rest of the movie, there aren't a lot of them, and you're at a point in the year where people are looking for and the bar is also set all the way up here. 10 years ago, this thing would have made all the money in the world, even if it came out in December. But the level of, you can't just have a crazy action movie that's cool. You got to be bringing something else to it these days, which is unfortunate. Because for me, I like to be able to just go kick back and enjoy something like this because the action is fun. And that's what I'll tell you. If you're an action fan, if you like big CGI set pieces, go check out Mortal Engines. You'll probably have a good enough time to go, that was worth checking out. And I would say do it in the theater because I don't know if it'll play on the small screen at all. So there you go. I mean, those are my thoughts. I had a fun time. I enjoyed the action. I was able to go back to like the 90s and just be like, ooh, popcorn action, yay. But, I mean, the heart of the core of this movie is not very strong. So take what you will from all of that. I enjoyed it. That's all I've got to say. Now it's your turn, man. I want you to hit them comments down below. Let me know what you think. Are you just like, I am so done with these YA adaptation books being adapted to movies? Like, just done. Are you interested? If you've seen the movie, did you hate it? Did you have anything good to say about it? Leave all that down below in the comments. As always, if you enjoyed this video, even if you didn't like the movie, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe and little bell so you get alerts every time I make a new video. For the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down, I'm the Seaman, and I'm signing off. Peace. Oh, hey, what's up, guys? You're still here? Well, if you are, you might as well check out another video like this one or this one. And if you're new and haven't, would you please hit the subscribe button? See ya!